So week 5 already of the fantasy baseball season, and here's a few pitchers I looked at this week. The first guy, Josiah Gray of the Washington Nationals, so a former top prospect in the Dodgers system a few years ago, and obviously he was in the blockbuster deal for Trey Turner and Max Scherzer a few trade deadlines ago. So far in the season here for Josiah Gray, 33 2/3, 2-4 record, 31 strikeouts, a 2.73 ERA, and a 1.24 whip with 3 quality starts on the season. So Gray, I know the record isn't good, but ERA, strikeouts is solid, quality starts under his belt solid, and he's a guy going out there right now and paying big dividends for fantasy owners and this Washington National team. Even though it's very surprising to me, he's still out there in 71% of fantasy leagues. But after 2 great outings in a row, coming a Washington National offense that don't really hit the baseball, even though they've given him some run support the last 2 outings. Gray's gone out there and he's pitching great baseball. April 18th versus Baltimore. 5 innings in that one, got the loss. 4 hits, a run, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts. April 25th at the Mets. 6 innings, got the win in that game. 4 hits, a walk, 9 Ks, a quality start. In April 30th versus the Pirates, 6 innings, got the win in that game. 3 hits, a run, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, a quality start. So Gray, he looks like he's got good composure out there on the mound. He's hitting the strike zone, and he's got some sharp stuff, and he was a former top prospect for a reason. And right now, that's coming to fruition, him pitching good baseball. And the only thing is, obviously, he's not going to get a lot of wins with a poor Washington National offense backing him. But he's a guy that could give you quality starts. He's going to give you strikeouts, and he's going to have a good ERA and whip. So right now, he's probably the best starting pitcher to pick up this week. The next guy, Mackenzie Gore, his teammate of the Washington Nationals. So another blue chip prospect in a separate deal last season at the deadline, trading Juan Soto and Josh Bell away to the San Diego Padres. So far in the season for Gore, it's been a great year. 27 innings, 3-1 record, 31 strikeouts, a 3 ERA, a 1.30 whip, and 3 quality starts on the season. So right now, Gore's only out there in 53% of fantasy leagues. And one more good start out of him, he's not going to be out there in many leagues. I know this national team, they don't score a lot of runs, but these guys are going out there and they're getting quality starts, they're getting innings, and they're having a low ERA and just pitching good baseball for the Nats and fantasy owners. So the last few games for Gore, April 12th at the Angels, 3 2/3, no decision. 4 hits, 2 runs in that one, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts. April 19th versus the Orioles, 6 innings, got the loss. 3 hits, 3 runs, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts, a quality start. And April 26th at the New York Mets, 6 innings in that one, got the win. 4 hits, a run, 3 walks, 10 strikeouts. So right now, Gore's going out there. He's pitching great baseball, and he's got a solid matchup here tonight versus the Chicago Cubs, a middle-of-the-pack type of offense. I think he could go out there and pitch another good game. And right now, like I said, if he goes out there and has another great outing versus the Cubs here tonight, is Mackenzie Gore. He's not going to be a guy available in many fantasy leagues. So right now will be the time to go out there and get him. And like I said, he's not going to get many wins, but every other category for fantasy owners, he will deliver. The next guy, Drew Smyly of the Chicago Cubs, so almost coming off a perfect game last week with Smyly. I mentioned him on the list. And surprisingly, he's still out there right now in 54% of fantasy leagues here. Smyly on the season, 2-1 record, 28 innings, 27 strikeouts, a 3.21 ERA, and a 0.93 whip with a quality start. But the last few weeks here is where he's getting it going. 18 1/3, 2-0 record, 17 strikeouts, a 1.7 ERA, 0.65 whip, and a quality start. So right now, Smyly, he's out there, like I said, still in a decent amount of leagues. But another good outing or 2 from him. He's not really going to be available on the waiver wire, is Drew Smyly. So the last few games here for him is where he's gotten it going. April 16th at the Dodgers, 5 2/3, got the win. 4 hits, a run, 2 walks, 3 Ks. April 21st versus the Dodgers again, where he almost had the perfect game, 7 2/3. Got the win, 1 hit, no runs, 10 Ks, a quality start. And April 26th versus San Diego, a mediocre outing. 5 innings, no decision, 4 hits, 2 runs, a walk, 4 Ks. But right here, tonight, a good matchup versus the aforementioned Mackenzie Gore in a game where it could be 2 pitchers going at it and pitching good baseball for both teams. So right now, while Smyly's been better in the last 3 outings here and pitching good baseball, he's a guy who will go out there and give a pickup to. And like I said, he's got a great matchup here tonight as well at the Washington Nationals. The next guy is Matt Strahm of the Philadelphia Phillies. So Strahm, he's been pretty decent so far this season here. And the Phillies, it seems like every year they find a diamond in the rough, either for the rotation or one of their batters. So on the season here for Strahm, 2-2 record, 23 1/3, 32 strikeouts, a 2.31 ERA, 0.81 whip. So the only thing here with Strahm, he's not going that deep into games. He's a 5-inning pitcher right now, but if he could get stretched out a little bit and have more confidence in him, he's definitely a guy that can help fantasy owners, and obviously he has a good offense backing him. Even though Bryce Harper, we don't know when he's coming back. He's been out the whole season so far, and Rhys Hoskins is out for the year. Philly offense still can hit the baseball. April 20th versus the Rockies, 5 1/3, got the loss, 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 11 strikeouts. And then April 27th versus the Mariners, 5 1/3, got the win, 2 hits, no runs in that one, 5 strikeouts. So right now, his next outing is May 2nd at the Dodger team. And this Dodger team isn't that great of a hitting team like it was in years past. After the first 5 batters, for the most part, that lineup has some weaknesses, and I think Strahm could take advantage of that. So right now, he's available, like I said, in 58% of fantasy leagues. Not going to go deep into games, but he's going to give you strikeouts. He's going to give you good ERA and whip. And right now, like I said, it's tough to find pitching on the waiver wire. So right now, while he's out there, Strahm, he's definitely a guy to go out there and get. The next guy, Logan Allen of the Cleveland Guardians. So Logan Allen, he was a mentioned pickup last week and one of the top prospects in baseball at the pitching position. So right now, he's pitched well in his first 2 outings of his major league career. So 11 innings, 1-1 record, 16 strikeouts already, 2.50 ERA, 1.10 whip, and a quality start on the season here for Allen. So Allen, he did everything he could in the minor leagues, and now he's got called up to the majors. And like I said, he's looked pretty solid so far in the first 2 outings of his major league career is Logan Allen, even though he's a tough luck loser in yesterday's ball game. So right now, he's going to stay in this rotation. This Cleveland Guardian team, they got a couple young pitchers, and another one I'm going to mention later in the video. And Logan Allen, his next outing will be later next week here. So April 23rd versus the Marlins, 6 innings, got the win. 5 hits, a run, a walk in that ball game, a quality start. And April 30th at the Red Sox, 5 innings, got the loss in that one. 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, and 8 strikeouts. So right now, he's a high strikeout pitcher, is Logan Allen. He's got good stuff, and obviously there's not much film on him since he's a rookie, and only pretty much AAA film. So right now, he's on a decent team with the Cleveland Guardians, one of the top pitching prospects in all Major League Baseball. And right now, it's surprising to me that more owners didn't go out there and run to the fantasy waiver wire and get him. Right now, still available is Logan Allen, surprisingly in 65% of fantasy leagues. So right now, if you want a guy with good upside, and like I said, one of the top prospects in Major League Baseball at pitching position, he's a guy to get this week. The next guy, Vince Velasquez of the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pirates, surprisingly, this season off to a monster start, 20-9 on the season. I don't know if it's going to stay up, but Vince Velasquez has definitely been a big part of that for this team this year. 4-2 record, 32 1/3, 32 strikeouts, a 3.06 ERA, 1.18 whip, and 4 quality starts. So many seasons ago, Vince Velasquez, he was a top prospect in Major League Baseball, but it never came to fruition with him pitching great baseball and staying healthy and staying consistent. But so far this season, he's found it over there in Pittsburgh, and whatever the case be, this Pirate team, a team that no one had hopes for, so far in the first 29 games of the season, 20-9. I don't think it's going to hold up, but right now they're playing great baseball, and Vince Velasquez is a viable option for fantasy baseball. April 23rd versus the Reds, 7 innings, got the win, 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 10 Ks, a quality start. And April 29th at Washington, 6 innings, got the win in that game, 5 hits, no runs, 5 Ks, a quality start. So right now, I know the last 2 outings, pretty easy matchups here for Vince Velasquez, and he's a pretty weak division as well. The NL Central, not the greatest division. Cardinals, they're having a horrible season. Cubs, middle of the pack type of team over there. Cincinnati Reds still in rebuild mode. And right now, they're taking advantage of it, is this Pirate team. And Vince Velasquez, he's getting strikeouts. He's going deep into ball games. I don't know how much longer it's going to last, like I said, but right now out there, 59% of fantasy leagues. And it's definitely going to be a test for him. May 4th is next start at the Tampa Bay Rays, with the best team in baseball right now. So right now, while Velasquez is playing great baseball and he's putting up monster fantasy numbers, it's a perfect time to go out there and get him this week. The next guy, Tanner Bigby of the Cleveland Guardians. So Bibby, one of the top pitching prospects in Major League Baseball as well. So right here, this Guardian team, they got some arms, obviously, on the farm. And they called up Logan Allen, who I mentioned early in the video. You got Tanner Bibby, and now you also got Gavin Williams down there as well, a guy who can make an impact maybe sooner than later in fantasy baseball. So right here, Bibby did it all in the minor leagues. And so far, in his first career outing, 5 2/3, got the win in that one. 8 strikeouts for Bibby versus the Colorado Rockies. But his next outing, he'll be tested a little bit more, obviously, at the New York Yankees, even though the Yankees took a beating this past weekend by the Texas Rangers. So right now, Bibby, he's got good stuff, good strikeout stuff. And like I said, he's on a decent Guardian team that's going to give him some run support. And a guy could go out there and definitely help fantasy owners. First outing, 5 2/3, got the win. 6 hits, a run, 8 Ks. So right now, next outing, tougher matchup, no doubt. But he's a guy with high upside and a top prospect, and right now he's available in 71% of fantasy leagues. Even if he has a bad outing at the New York Yankees, he's not a guy I'm going to give up on quickly. As long as he's in the major leagues here and getting an opportunity, you give him 3 or 4 starts before you make a decision if you would drop him or not. If he's struggling, the next guy's another top prospect in Major League Baseball at the pitching position. Gavin Stone of the Los Angeles Dodgers. So the Dodgers, they've gotten some poor performances at the back end of their rotation. Noah Syndergaard, he pretty much looks done at this point in his career as an elite pitcher. And like I said, they're not getting the outings they want right now is this Dodger team. So right now, it's May. They're calling up Gavin Stone, and it has high upside and one of the top pitching prospects in all Major League Baseball. And right now, he's surprisingly out there in 91% of fantasy leagues. He's going to pitch Wednesday versus the Philadelphia Phillies, and his Major League debut was Gavin Stone. So if he's out there on your wire, he's one of the high priorities, in my opinion, to go out there and get a guy this week, a high strikeout rate. Guy could go deep into the games, and people project him as a 2-starter coming up in the major leagues. Obviously, he's not going to come up to the majors right away and be an ace and be lights out, but to be on a Dodger team that still could be a team that turns it around if their hitting could get going, and giving Stone a lot of run support, this might be the boost in the arm this Dodger team needs in the back end of their rotation. Obviously, Walker Buehler out for the year. Julio Urias, he's definitely struggling. Tyler Anderson was great for them last year, but he left in free agency for the Angels. And Noah Syndergaard really hasn't given them anything, and Dustin May still working his way back. So right now, Gavin Stone, he's a guy that can help the back end of this rotation for this Dodger team. And like I said, a guy with good upside. So right now, owners, this will be the time to go out there and get him, where he's out there in 91% of leagues before it's too late. The next guy, Will Smith of the Texas Rangers. So it looks like Will Smith might be the man over there with the closer role for this Ranger team. Jose Lotharik, they've passed him up right now in that bullpen a little bit. So on the season here for Smith, 9 1/3, 0-1 record, 3 saves, 11 strikeouts, a 1.93 ERA, and an 0.86 whip. So we know Will Smith has a lot of closer experience, especially with the Atlanta Braves a few seasons ago, helping them win the title for that Brave team. And this Texas Ranger team, they're playing solid baseball in the early going and coming off a huge weekend series, taking care of the Yankees pretty easily. So Will Smith, he's got 3 saves in the last 10 appearances. And like I said, the veteran, they got more confidence in it, looks like, over there in Texas than Jose Lotharik. So right now, while Smith's available in tons of fantasy leagues, and if you need closer help, because it's been pretty tough besides the top few closers this season to get consistent saves and to get a guy that's going to keep the ERA and whip down. He's available right now in 62% of fantasy leagues. And the final pitcher I look to get off the wire this week's another Texas Ranger, Nathan Eovaldi. So Eovaldi, surprisingly, he's still out there in 44% of fantasy leagues here as Eovaldi. But after this week and after that crazy complete game shutout versus the New York Yankees, the first since 2015, 8 seasons, Nathan Eovaldi, 3-2 record on the year, 36 2/3, 39 strikeouts, a 3.93 ERA, a 1.15 whip, and 3 quality starts. So far this season, his strikeouts are up over there in Texas. And this Ranger team, they got a solid offense behind Eovaldi and that pitching staff. So the last few games here for Nathan Eovaldi, April 18th at the Royals, 6 innings, got the win, 7 hits, 2 runs, a walk, 5 Ks, a quality start. April 24th at the Reds, 6 innings in that one, no decision, 6 hits, 3 runs, a walk, 7 Ks, a quality start. And then, like I said, April 29th versus the Yankees, complete game shutout in that one, 3 hits, 8 strikeouts in the quality start. So Eovaldi, He's off to a pretty solid start, but he's also a guy with sell high as well. If you could pick a guy up like Eovaldi and then flip him for a nice bat, this would be the time to do it. And he's a guy I'm going to talk later in the week about selling off Eovaldi if that's a chance for fantasy owners. But right now, surprisingly, like I said, he's out there in 44% of fantasy leagues, a number that's obviously going to go up coming off one of the best games of his major league career. And he's still a crafty veteran, is Eovaldi, and gets good offense of support with the Rangers offense behind him. So that's a few pitches I look to pick up here in week 5. And tons of great arms out there this week on the fantasy wire.